In February 1948, several ships sailing through the Strait of Malacca received a Morse code distress signal. The message said the crew was dead. Then it said the captain was dead. Then it said everyone was dead. And the last transmission, just 3 words, said, "I die." When rescuers reached the ship, every single person on board was dead. No wounds, no injuries, no signs of a fight, just frozen expressions of pure terror on every face. And before anyone could figure out what happened, the ship exploded and sank, taking every answer with it to the bottom of the sea. February 1948, the Strait of Malacca, the same narrow strip of water between Malaysia and Indonesia where Malaysia Airlines flight MH370 disappeared in 2014. The weather that day was perfect. Clear skies, calm seas, no wind to speak of. Several American and British merchant ships were making their way through the strait on completely routine voyages. Nothing unusual. Nothing to suggest that within hours, maritime history would record one of its most disturbing and still unsolved mysteries. Then, the radio operators on multiple ships picked up something strange, a Morse code signal. Now, Morse code might sound old-fashioned, but in 1948, it was actually more reliable than voice radio for long-distance communication. Voice transmissions got distorted by fog, humidity, distance, and atmospheric interference. Morse code, just dots and dashes, could punch through all of that and travel thousands of kilometers with the message intact. What the radio operators decoded that day started with 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots, repeated twice, SOS, SOS. The full message translated as SOS, SOS from steamship SS Orang Medan. Request you contact shortwave wireless. Doctor needed urgently. Then, without any pause, a second message arrived. The translation, I think second officer is dead. Remainder of crew possibly dead as well. Do not need medical advice. SOS, request immediate rescue. After that second message, the ship transmitted its position coordinates. And then came the final transmission. Just 3 words, I die. Silence. The radio operators on nearby ships called back immediately. No response. They kept trying for several minutes. Nothing. Every ship that had received the signal understood the same thing. Something catastrophic had happened aboard the SS Orang Medan. The nearest vessel was an American merchant ship called the Silver Star. Its captain changed course immediately and pushed toward the coordinates the Orang Medan had transmitted. He assumed the ship had been attacked, or was sinking, or both. After several hours of sailing toward the position, the Silver Star's crew spotted a vessel through their binoculars. As they drew closer, something immediately seemed wrong, but not in the way they had expected. The SS Orang Medan was not sinking. It was not on fire. It was not visibly damaged in any way. It sat perfectly still on the calm water, completely intact. The only strange thing visible from a distance was the chimney. The ship had a steam engine, which should have been producing smoke. The chimney was completely cold, and the deck was absolutely silent. Not a single person moving anywhere on the ship. The Silver Star's captain used the loudspeaker. He sounded the horn repeatedly. No response, no movement, just the sound of the water. Finally, he made the decision that the situation required. He sent a rescue team across to the Orang Medan to find out what was happening. What that rescue team found when they boarded, they found the first body. It was lying on the deck, and the expression on its face stopped the rescue team in their tracks. The man's eyes were wide open. His mouth was open. His arms were stretched out in front of him as if he had been trying to push something away or stop something from reaching him. His face was locked in an expression of absolute terror. There were no wounds on the body, no blood, no marks of any kind. As the rescue team moved through the ship, they found more bodies. Bodies everywhere. On the deck, in the corridors, in the bridge. Every officer was dead at their post. And in the corner of the deck, the ship's dog, a detail that the rescue team mentioned specifically in their accounts, was also dead, frozen in the same rigid, terrified posture as the humans, mouth open, body stiff with whatever fear it had experienced in its final moments. The rescue team made their way to the radio room. where they found the radio operator who had sent those final transmissions. His fingers were still resting on the Morse code key, exactly where they had been when he sent the words, "I die." When the rescue team had finished their initial survey of the ship, one thing was absolutely clear. Whatever had happened here was unlike anything in their collective experience. There were no answers visible anywhere on the vessel. The decision was made to tow the MEDAN to the nearest port so that a proper investigation could be conducted. The rescue team began attaching tow lines. And then, smoke started rising from cargo hold number 4. It started as a thin wisp, almost nothing. Within minutes, it had become a fire. The fire spread so fast that the rescue team had no time to do anything except run. They abandoned the tow lines, jumped into their small boats, and rowed hard back to the Silver Star. They had barely reached their own ship when the MEDAN exploded. The blast was powerful enough to lift debris high into the air and scatter wreckage across the surrounding water. Within minutes, the mysterious ship, and every body on it, and every piece of evidence it might have contained had disappeared beneath the surface of the Strait of Malacca.
Then, in 2003, the CIA declassified a batch of previously secret files. One of those files was a letter dated May 29, 1958, 10 years after the incident, addressed to the CIA and describing the MEDAN event in detail. The author of the letter wrote that they believed solving the mystery of the SS MEDAN would provide answers to the disappearances of several other aircraft and ships in the same region. The CIA had kept this letter classified for 45 years before releasing it. It is still available on the CIA's website today. Whatever investigation, if any, the CIA conducted in response to that letter has never been made public. The theory that most investigators consider most credible, and which fits the known facts better than any other explanation, involves the cargo the ship was carrying. World War II had ended just a few years earlier, and in its aftermath, enormous quantities of chemical weapons and dangerous substances were moving around the world through unofficial channels. Japan's Unit 731, the military unit responsible for some of the most horrific biological and chemical experiments ever conducted on human beings, had left behind stockpiles of extraordinarily dangerous materials when Japan surrendered. There is documented evidence that the United States was involved in transferring some of Japan's scientists and their research during this period. Some researchers believe the MEDAN was carrying potassium cyanide, nitroglycerin, or other dangerous chemicals as illegal cargo. If seawater infiltrated the cargo hold and came into contact with potassium cyanide, it would produce hydrogen cyanide gas, one of the most lethal substances known, which kills by entering the lungs and causing rapid chemical suffocation. This would explain why every person on the ship died without any visible injury. They suffocated from toxic gas exposure. The frozen expressions of terror would be consistent with the extreme physical distress of cyanide poisoning. The dog, dying in the same manner, would be consistent with the same gas affecting the entire ship equally. And nitroglycerin, an explosive chemical that can detonate spontaneously if stored incorrectly, would explain the sudden fire and explosion that destroyed the ship before any investigation could be conducted, conveniently eliminating all physical evidence of what had actually been in the cargo hold. The supernatural angle, which various writers have proposed over the decades since the incident, centers on details like the extreme cold felt inside the ship, despite the tropical climate, and the dog's reaction, which some have argued suggests the animal perceived something that human senses could not detect. These elements have made the MEDAN a favorite subject of paranormal investigators, and the story has accumulated a mythology of its own over the 70-plus years since it happened. But the chemical cargo theory remains the most logically consistent explanation for every element of the story. The sudden mass death with no visible cause, the frozen expressions of terror, the fire that broke out in the cargo hold specifically, and the explosion that destroyed all evidence.
The truth about the SS MEDAN is sitting somewhere at the bottom of the Strait of Malacca, buried under decades of sediment and salt water. We will almost certainly never recover it. What we are left with is a CIA file that someone thought important enough to write 10 years after the fact, a ship that officially did not exist,